What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony. I am joined by Anthony.
Hello, hello.
And the homie Shawn.
Yeah.
Shawn Robbins, photographer extraordinaire.
What's up?
Is back. What's up, man?
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're a three-peat guest. This is like the Bulls' third championship. Like it's expected. You know there's going to be more too. You know, you'll be back.
Exactly. Yeah. Might as well just like strap in.
We like having you. You fit right in seamlessly. We've had you a couple times this year and seen you at shows, obviously hung out at shows, and you know, it's one of those things like music bringing people together. This is certainly a situation for us with you. So we're happy to have you back.
It's rare where you find a group of people that you can just kind of nerd out over this stuff over. So when that happens, it's like, yeah, embrace it.
So we're recording a little inside baseball, early December, and this is our annual year in review. So I was thinking, Tone, did we do this in 2020?
We did.
So this is the fourth annual year in review episode.
The 2020 episode's like an hour and 45 minutes long too.
that
Super
was
long.
That was the funny thing about, I would say, when did the long like marathon episodes ramp down?
2021.
2021.
Yeah.
And I think it was just with editing. Like, what are we doing?
I think we both.
It's a
decided,
giant edit.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to edit it, and to edit it well and have it sound good, it took us a little time. So let's stop doing an hour and 40 minutes. Let's cut it back to about an hour.
And we have all the metrics too. Like, we can tell when people start dying off. And I know there's some podcasts that I listen to that I'll take 2 hours all day. There's others where an hour is plenty. And I think we're probably in the latter of that game.
Unless we have Shawn on, we want to go 2 hours. So maybe that happens tonight. We don't know.
Let's do it. Who knows? People might want to hear me for 2 hours. I can get a few people who would want to do that. But
well, we do, because this is the third time. So
sure. Yeah, okay. I'll take it.
So in year in review fashion, I prepared a few things. A couple stats. Let's start off, before I get to the stats, I'm going to hit you guys with every band we had on this year, on the podcast this year. And it's going to be rapid fire. I'll start with band, then I'll get to like individuals or label owners. So we had Koyo, Half Me, Trawl, August Burns Red, Taproot, Incendiary, Currents, Plain White Tees, Buck Cherry, Nevermind, As Friends Rust, Movements, The Movie Life, The Sleeping, Teenage Wrist, Grove Street, Sum 41, With Honor, Taking Back Sunday, Knuckle Puck / Home Safe, Youth Fountain, Calling Hours / Far Side, Dying Wish, and Spite House. And then we peppered in Brian McTurnan, the producer. We peppered in Holiday Kirk of New Metal Agenda, Craziest Moments in New Metal History, Chris Wren of Bridge 9, Casey of Iodine Records. I think that's it. And Scott Lee, founder of New England Metal and Hardcore Festival.
We did that? All that stuff?
I think it's our best year as far as bands go.
Shawn, you're an unbiased observer here. Is this our best year ever?
Innocent bystander. What do you think?
I think you guys did fantastic. Knocked it out of the park. 2023, best year in the books for Podioslave.
Right, I like that.
That's how I see it right there.
I appreciate the pandering. That's nice of you.
I mean, I want to be on a fourth time, so.
Like 2022 had some, like, that was Anthrax and Seven Dust and like Hatebreed and, you know, heavy hitters. But I would put our Q4 as the best quarter we've had in terms of like guests and just a run. Because this year we did pivot to more, especially in like the latter half, we pivoted to more interviews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And less like segments or like music topics.
Very true. We had a lot of, Q4 was wild, and we've said it all year, the fact that we get to do this every week, it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun, and get to talk to people in that world. I'm not trading it. I want to keep doing it, and we'll keep coming back doing more of this stuff in 2024. And we've already got some stuff on the percolating behind the scenes. You never know, it's coming.
Can you guys share what your most listened to podcast of the year was?
Yes, that's wow. The segue. Shawn is the new segue king. It used to be Nate, then it was me.
One. Yeah.
And then it was Tone, and I think it was back to me. The most listened to by a lot was the first episode of the year. It was episode 147, which was 20 years of Thrice's The Artist in the Ambulance with the producer of the album, Brian McTernan.
Oh, wow. Great.
That one, a lot of people shared it. It was on Chorus FM. Jason Tate picked it up. Yep. That certainly helped. But that's a special record that resonated with a lot of people. And I'm throwing it out there. I can't confirm this, but we think that we inspired the band to do their podcast on the album, because it, like 2-3 months later, after Brian was on with us, there comes a series of podcasts that the band did, and they invited Brian on too. Like, I don't know if that's true. If it is, I mean, that's a resume builder right there. We inspired a band to do something.
Or gave him, just planted the seed, even if we didn't mean to, adjacently. Brian was awesome. Brian's been on twice this year. I know at some point we'll probably knock on that door again, because he's had his hands in a lot of amazing records. So
that was most listened to. A couple other factoids to hit you with. We produced 2,600 minutes of content created this year. So that's an episode every week. And then we peppered in some what we called in real time episodes, which are just kind of quick hitter mini episodes we would drop on Fridays. We probably did maybe a half dozen of those this year.
I liked those, but they became tough to do just with time and putting the big episode out every week, wanting that to be good. It wasn't always easy to also throw another visual together, another 15 minutes of content together. And it was good when bands got back together, because like, all right, let's talk about Metallica's going on tour, records coming out. Let's talk about Pantera getting back together. That was easy, but didn't always work.
And the last stat is, according to Spotify, and they're wrapped for podcasts. So as a podcast, you get a wrapped summary as well. We had a 48% increase in listenership on Spotify. It doesn't give you all the details, but I think it's from 2022 to 2023. I don't believe that, but I'll take it. We know the list, we know the metrics across all platforms, but maybe Spotify is just pandering to us. They're like, stay on platform.
You guys are awesome. It's still going up, guys. Keep it up. Yeah.
Keep giving us money.
Yeah.
Other factoids, still no ads. This is an ad-free experience. So
we did one ad this year. We did one ad this year.
We did. But we would have done that anyway. Ad-free experience. We do have, it's not a Patreon, but it's through Spotify. I think you can throw a subscription at us, 99 cents, $4.99 a month or whatever. A few have done it. If you've done it, we appreciate that. But yeah, that's the summary. I'm impressed. Like, if you told me that when we started this, that 3 years in, that would be the resume for the year, I'd be like, wow, all right, I'm in.
I wouldn't have believed it at all.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm in. And so, Shawn, you can probably resonate with this. You're the moderator of the Nu Metal Reddit. Like, you're pulling in huge guests. Like, if someone told you 3 years in of the names that you'd pull in, you'd be surprised, I would assume, right?
Oh, 100%. Especially from like acts that, like, I think at the time when we started, like, really kind of ramping up the subreddit, it was still kind of a dirty name, a dirty word, nu metal.
Right. Yeah.
And not many bands wanted that label. So when we started our first AMA with Kitty, like it being the subreddit, it's literally the first one, that was a kind of a nice, like, hey, like, you may feel a little ashamed at this label, but like, look at these guys, like, people love them. They don't care if they're labeled nu metal or whatever. They just like the attention and are willing to give back to the fans. So once that message got across, that it's just like, it doesn't matter what we're called or what any of this is really called, just as long as like we're gathering a bunch of people who want to have the opportunity to talk to these bands and then share their love of this music and in one specific place, then we started getting more people and getting bigger guests. It was just like, all right, I think we got something here, and if we just maintain it, then we're on a good course.
And it's been awesome. I mean, that's a place that we have frequented, posted episodes, things to talk about, memes, the whole nine. Like, it's a fun place. It's one of the more fun places on Reddit, and that's saying something, because there's not a lot of fun places on Reddit.
No, it's a very bad place.
Well, it's that's a perfect example of, if you build it, they will come. And if you build something good, they will come. You know what I mean? because I think when we had you on before, we talked about the growth, and I had predictions. We should dial that back. I was like, you're going to be at 50,000 subscribers by X date. Let's dial that back. I got to figure that out.
I think a year from that episode, which was back in the fall. Where are they at now, Shawn? What's it at right now?
We crossed 40 back in November.
I'm in biz. Well, close. I'm on the right track.
Yeah, cross 40. So let me look right now. And we celebrated that with an AMA with 40 Below Summer.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Which makes sense.
I love the bi-directional nerdery, as Nate would say.
And yeah, we're at 43 right now. So
wow, hockey stick growth.
So Reddit started this new thing now, and I was like, what is this? This is new. And it shows you the ranking in the category of subreddit that you're in.
I saw that. I did see this.
And I think we were higher before, but right now we are number 16 in metal music.
Wow. That's awesome.
Show like who's like the top communities. And right now, of course, metalcore is number 1, but down at 16,
which is the new metal. So it checks out.
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah.
And a less fun place than the new metal subreddit, honestly. I've tried in there too. And there are times to post in there as if you've had people on and you want to kind of show the world what you've done, but not as much fun as the new metal subreddit.
No, I think they take themselves. It's funny because like I think metal became like the metal subreddit became a very like serious and chaotic place. And and the more I started moderating our own subreddit, the more I started to sympathize with the moderators of larger subreddits. I'm like, how do you corral the chaos and
I don't
the
envy
content
anyone that does
that comes in? Like, I don't even know how to do it. Like, I feel like where we are right now is pretty lucky, like sweet spot area, and we let the community kind of like flag everything. Myself and another moderator are guest mods on the grunge one, and that one's overwhelming. But once you kind of like strip it down, it's kind of a very simple like subreddit. You don't really need to do much. There's only so many grunge bands.
Right.
But the metal one, like, it took itself really seriously, and then the metalcore was like, well, fuck those guys. We're gonna go and do our own thing. And they did theirs, and now they're slowly becoming like, the Two-Face, Batman meme of just kind of like,
yep,
you live long enough to see yourself become the villain type of scenario. So now I'm like, how do I make sure I look myself in the mirror before we get close?
Well, it's just statistics. You put enough people in a room, shit's gonna happen.
I know. I think we're just generally an altogether silly genre, and so when it gets to like, let's say like 100K, because like some of these other ones like metalcore and hardcore, they're in the 300, 500K, right? Yeah, metalcore is 500, hardcore is 120. We're not even that close to any of that. But once you get into that realm, all right, now how do you corral that kind of like mayhem that can come in? You don't know when like a horde of internet trolls can kind of like take over and do whatever they want to do with the place.
Right. And that can happen quick when there's that many people in there.
That can happen quick, and it can happen when you're asleep. And
right? Like you're not plugged in all the time.
Shit. Yeah.
So I'm going to be the segue king right now. I got a question for you guys, and maybe what we just talked about will be part of your answer here. But as we think about 2023 was the year of what? And I'm just springing this on you. So while you guys think, I'll hit you with mine. For me, it was the year of the comeback and reunion. That was a theme through and through, whether it was albums, tours, one-off shows. It was everyone fucking came out of the woodwork. Like, I was thinking about it. Botch came back. Bane came back. Blink came back. Like, the only one left, guys, is Oasis. Like, the Gallagher brothers are going to, like, see what happened in 2023 and be like, hey, guys, we're here.
Yeah.
People have tried to get them, too. Just, it doesn't seem to want to happen. And they're brothers, for fuck's sake. Jesus. Next, you're going to tell me the third Chevelle brother is going to join the band again.
Yeah, right.
Silverchair's back, guys.
Ooh, okay, I'm in for that, especially with the way music is going this year. Yeah.
But like, it was the year of the comeback. It was I feel like in earlier episodes we may have predicted this, or like the proper ingredients happened with the pandemic and all that, where people could reset and maybe rekindle an old flame. But that's my 2023 was the blank. It was the year of the comeback, the year of the reunion.
Yeah, I agree. Big time. Like, I feel like it's also the year of the 20th anniversary.
Ooh, is that a slight on our podcast?
Full like,
or was that inspired by our podcast?
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. 20th anniversary, like full like album plays, you know?
Oh, totally.
I feel like there's other bands that were, you know, it wasn't like this wasn't the only year it happened. Obviously, you know, previous years, Glassjaw did theirs like front to back and so on and so forth. Other bands have done it in the past, but the mass amount, like look at what's happening with what's that festival now? Is it When We Were Young, where they do they're now doing all those bands are doing the full album.
Yeah, next year. Yeah. And not to cut you off, Shawn, but I missed a key band, Creed. Creed is back. I mean, who would have thought?
Creed is back.
Creed's back.
Creed is behind you. I can see Scott Stapp behind you in the video.
There he is.
Yeah.
In his Cowboys jersey. No,
hello, my friend. We meet again. All right, I'm done.
Oh man, we'll do like maybe a 300th episode of like Creed covers or something. I don't know.
We have 190 something episodes in. We have a lot of episodes where we or our guests sing. At some point, I will go back through and find it.
The karaoke episode.
I
like that.
We'll call it the karaoke episode. That's a good call. I like that.
Tone, what was this year the year of?
Man.
Year of the Spider?
The full album play, yes. Cold Year of the Spider. The full album play is certainly stamped itself on the music industry this year and going forward. The reunions for sure. Nu metal had a massive year. We've talked about that in episodes past. It's kind of all of that. I think it's the year of the grand opening. We're back. Nate, I got to give him credit. He said it to us, I don't know how many times over the course of 21 and 22 that 23 is going to be the year. And he fucking knocked it out of the park. This year was loaded with music, with festivals, with reunions, with genres coming back from the dead. It's a great time to be a music fan. So maybe it's the year of the fan.
I like that. And it does check out. I mean, bands, what's a typical album cycle for a band? 3 years?
Yeah, in that world.
And so for anyone that was gearing up to release an album in 2021, probably delayed it. Yeah, it's not coming out till now. Plant delay, vinyl pressing plant delays, record label delays, whatever. Like it makes sense. And then everyone, that's the thing, is it's a snowball effect. You see like how well a Botch reunion does, and now Orchid does it, and now all the, you know what I mean? You see the appetite and you react as a band, and hopefully it's for the right reasons. I think
the year of the price gouge. The year
the year of the VIP meet and greet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, you see, like some of these bands too, is that like they're getting older. Whatever gripes they had with each other, they've kind of fizzled out anyway. If they had kids, they're a little bit older now, so they don't feel like they need to be, you know, constantly present. They can feel like they'll have a little bit more space to go on these tours, to do like a little more albums. And they feel like the reason that they got into it in the first place was to hang out with their friends and make good music. That feels a little bit more realistic now, like it did back when they were younger. And they're also setting boundaries for themselves. You see bands like Quicksand who are only doing certain cities and just that's it. And just so kind of like Walter knows, like, you know, and all those guys, like, this is about as much as I can handle, and then I'm backing away. I mean, Grant Walter's going crazy right now because he's got all the rival school stuff and the Quicksand stuff.
Gotta get to that.
He's a busy dude. Yeah, he's a busy dude.
But still, like, I think I read an interview with him. He's just kind of like, I just only wanted to do it if I enjoyed it. And I think a lot of the guys kind of have the freedom, a little bit more of the freedom now. And it gives them an excuse to kind of get out there and hang out with their buddies. They're sober, you know, most of them are sober. Yep. And just now they're just like, it's more fun now as it was back when we were starting.
Well, the other variable too is these bands are the biggest they've ever been. There's a supply and demand element too. So like, Tone, say we end this podcast in a year, and then 10 years down the road, people want us to come back in droves, like 3 times over, I'd be like, all right, if they want it, I'll still enjoy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that whole thing.
I could certainly see that from a band perspective, especially when you've put out maybe a record or 2 or 3 that are beloved by your fan base, and 15, 20, 25 years have gone by, and maybe you took a 10-year break and didn't do anything, but you're like, you know what? We are older now. We're all more mature. We don't have to be stuck at home, like Shawn said. Let's do a little run and, hit 8 cities and see what comes of it. And we got a lot of that this year. And I think we're going to get more of it going forward, which is cool.
Yeah.
No, Taproot was another one. They're doing that. It's the
Weekend Warrior play.
I was going to say, it's the reserves. It's weekends, 1 weekend a month type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we put it out on socials, I think we talked about it at the beginning of the Dying Wish episode with Emma, not with her, but with us, Tone, that 2023 is just a special year. And it's because of all that. Everyone came out of the woodwork. You have the history of music at your fingertips. Like, you can probably see your favorite band this year if you really tried. What's not to like?
For real.
Everything's expensive as fuck, though. That's what's not to like.
That is an
You
understatement.
have to really be meticulous over, like, okay, do I want to go see this show or that show? Do I want to drive all the way down there? And then, like, parking, whatever else, maybe, let's say in our case, Boston or whatever. Yeah. You got to be like, oh, I feel like, oh no, we're at the point where there's too much.
Mm-hmm.
There's too much. And now I have to, like, there's 4 shows I want to go to in 1 month. And it's almost like kind of like a nice problem to have. But at the same time, you're just kind of like those tickets aren't cheap.
No. Well, and for us, I tweeted this out, and Threads did, and put it everywhere I could think of, because it hit me the other day. I was like, if I lived in Boston, I would have $0. I'd be in the red, because there's a show every other night or a show every night, and all those bands, and I'm like, why didn't they come to Portland? They go to Boston. So I'm kind of, it's a double-edged sword. I'm kind of glad that I have to pick and choose some of those bigger ones, but I also wish they just came through here too.
Well, and even though they're in the same city, it still takes like 30 minutes to get. So you'd pay for Ubers. It would be so expensive.
Certainly, yep.
But if you know your favorite band's playing 5 miles down the road, like, you're gonna go.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we had a couple come through our backyard, so we took advantage of that when we could.
All right, let's get into some superlatives. Tone, you kick us off here.
Oh boy, you want a superlative? Which one do you want?
Anything. Top, whatever, favorite, whatever, best, whatever. You hit us with it.
Well, I have 2 records on my my kind of ones that I loved from 2023. Best use of a question mark in their album title. I've got both Hot Mulligan's Why Would I Watch and Koyo's Would You Miss It. I think Koyo wins because I like the record a little more, but that's my best use of a question mark in the album title. Superlative.
Oh, I'd have to think about that. I mean, Koyo was one of my favorite albums of the year, so I would say, and I'm looking at my list of like my top 10, and that's the only one with the question mark, so I'm going to go with that.
Same, because that's the only one. No,
Not a lot of it, right? Yeah.
And that song that they do with Daryl is probably one of my songs of the year.
Message Like a Bomb.
Yeah.
So good.
So catchy.
What else you got, Tone? You get another quick hitter?
Let me see here. Yeah, another quick hitter. Oh, okay. It's not 2023 music, but it hit me, and we do this every year. We're like, oh man, if I had known about that record last year, it would have been on my top. So do you have any bands you guys slept on that hit you this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, give me one.
I was trying to buy some time.
Oh, I've got 2. I can give them to you right now. Spite House, which we talked to Max Lajoie a couple of weeks back. If I had known about that record in 22, it would have been a top 5 record for me by far. I love that record. I've been listening to it a ton. It fits this time of year as well. This like cold, huddled inside trying to stay warm vibe. And this summer I found Cliff Diver, and I think Andy, who comments on a lot of our stuff that Anthony, he messaged about that song, or like commented on a post that we did about a song they did, and I listened to it and liked it, but then I found more of it and I was like, oh, he's right. So shout out to him if he's listening. That Cliff Diver from last year is really good.
I would say for me, even though they're not huge, but like Nevermind is a band that I slept on. They've been around for a few years. Definitely slept on them. Spiritual Cramp. They've been around for a few years. I just checked them out after they did that tour with Teenage Wrist, and I love that new record. I would say those two come to mind. Yeah, for sure. Like slept on. How about you, Sean?
So this is not like a band that an artist I've really slept on. It's just an album I slept on. And it's just because like I always have to kind of find the right time to listen to him. But Javelin, the new Sufjan Stevens album,
Oh,
is
nice.
one that I finally got around to and kind of sat down and listened to once. But it's a heavy record because it's like about, I think it's his partner passing.
Mhm.
So getting into that was one of those just kind of like, because I can get in the car and put on like the new Jesus Peace album and just kind of like go crazy, and then I'm good. But like I need to be right in the headspace to listen to an album that deals with death,
Absolutely. Yep.
and his kind of intimacy and all that. So I got in late, but I still value it. So just fantastic album.
Nerd homework right there. I'm saving that one.
I've listened to one of his albums, and it popped when I was part of my college's radio station. Was the Illinois album? It was like
That's a huge record.
yeah, maybe '06, maybe
Yep.
that like mid 2000s, and I was the metal director for the radio station, but like the music director of the station always charted Illinois, or whatever the single was, or maybe there wasn't a single, but as our top song for a while. Nerd memories.
Yeah, he's all over the place. That record's huge, but this one and then his other full length that is kind of similar to this, Carrie and
Lowell.
what's that?
Carrie and Lowell.
Carrie and Lowell. Wow.
Yeah.
So good. Good, just great, intimate, acoustic, indie rock type stuff. You get the idea. Just yeah, really good. That's where his like he just hits it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, you said something that hit me, Sean. So I'm gonna throw one more superlative at you guys because I actually wrote next to a couple of my records here, good driving records. So you said, put on Jesus Beast, go nuts in the car. They're records that like vibe in the car better, or ones that maybe you go to because you're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I had the City and Color record, which came out back in March, I believe. The Love Still Held Me Near, really good, great driving record. Just on the way home at night, just kind of gets you back to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And the Post Malone record from this summer, Austin. I really like that in the car because I like to crank the speakers on that one. It just, it's a vibe.
It shows you how like fleeting everything is. Like, I feel like I remember City and Color coming out with an album, never listened to it. The Post Malone record, I think I stayed up till midnight the night it dropped, never revisited it. And not because I didn't like it. It was just world moves fast. Everything moves so fast.
Mm-hmm. I make a Google note of like albums that kind of stick with me, and then I got it open right now. Like at the end of the year, I kind of open it up and I'm like, oh yeah, that one too. Ooh, then it reminds me to go back and listen to it a few more times.
Well, like honestly, I feel like post-pandemic years are like dog years. Everything just is like feels so long ago. If something came out in January, to me, that's like 3 years ago.
Right?
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, I'm going to hit you guys with a question. Best feature of the year.
Daryl. Well, actually, Daryl's been on a lot, but when oh boy, let me bring up that song. So when he jumped on that,
Was it Bring Me the Horizon?
Yes.
Yeah.
He jumped on that. I was just kind of like, this is chaotic, but this is right here. I thought that was fun. I don't know if it's my favorite, but that one sticks out to me. I'm just kind of like, I was ready to hate that song, but I left kind of going like, this is a blast.
That's always fun, especially if you didn't have expectations going in, like to the point where there were negative expectations. You're like, nah, that's not going to be for me. And then you're like, ah, shit, they won me over.
Yeah, right. I would say also the Hers Collective album, just continuous, just like uppercut after hook and jab, just great features. Like, got My Chemical Romance, you got Shirley Manson from Garbage on there. like, and just like such a great album, such a great message. That's just it's just full of great features on there.
Twan, can I guess yours?
Yeah, I think you probably know. And we just mentioned the album.
Yeah, it's the Koyo. It's the Vinny Caruana with Koyo Boys, right?
Vinny, yeah. So I think it's the track or two after the. No, it's the track after the Daryl feature. They Stay Long Island and on What's Left to Say. And Tone, I don't know if you remember. There was a night where we had an interview scheduled. The guest did not show up.
I do remember this.
So we had a Koyo listening party. I put the record on the record player right here, and we just listened to the new record. And then when this song came on, I remember just like vibing out. So Vinny comes in near the end, and he's a guy that just ages like fine wine. His voice gets grittier over the years. It's not a pop punk traditional vocal. He comes in near the end and just crushes it. Like I felt compelled to DM him after I listened to it, which I did. But there's like a slight, subtle, I think, reference to a Movie Life song in the lyrics. He says, "You looked up at me and said, hey." Hey is a Movie Life song off 40-Hour Train Back to Penn. And I got to believe that's what it is. A call back to that. So you get the Long Island connection. You got, it fits. We don't need to get into it, but I fucking love it. It's my favorite feature.
I had that. It's one of the three that I wrote down here. My favorite part about that was hearing about that from Harold and Joey.
Yeah.
They had just kind of wrapped recording, and they talked about having Vinny in. And this is after we were done. I think it might have been part of the interview. I can't remember. But they told us about it, and I was like, that's cool. And then to hear it, 6 months later, I was like, holy shit, like this is amazing. That's really cool. Give you mine. The Still Love.
Soft Call?
Yep.
Or
Soft Call
Essay?
feature. Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
Or Fear Before. Fear Before March of Flames.
That's true. All three are good. I mean, and Marshall told us this when we had him on, but tougher to pull off live. But the title track, Still Love with Soft Call, is so good.
She nails that.
Nails it.
What's funny, guys?
She had goosebumps when she get
Right before we came on, I walked the dog in the freezing cold. The first song I put on was Still Love. When she comes on, it's like an out of body.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They nailed it. Yeah. They all nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good call. That's a great fucking feature. It's the best feature on the No Slight to Essay, or I think it's David from Fear Before the March of Flames. But it turned me into a Soft Call fan, me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I only knew the name.
They're coming to Boston in February, I think.
You going down?
I don't know.
I know you got to pick and choose.
You gotta wait. You're like, there's a lot of Boston shows coming down, and I gotta figure out which one I want to do. So yeah, but that's up there.
All right, Twan, give us something.
I'll hit you guys another question here. Favorite musical moment of the year? I will tell you mine while you guys think.
Musical moment.
It's Blink coming back and keeping the legacy alive, because there's so many dynamics with that band of members coming and going, styles changing, egos, personalities, labels. Like the fact that they came back and the record didn't suck. And not only didn't suck, was great. I don't know. I'm happy. Like my inner 1999, 13, 14-year-old in me is like, I can sleep at night. These guys pulled it off. And I saw them this year on their reunion tour, and hey, if they faked that they were friends or whatever, they pulled it off great. Even still, that's my musical moment of the year is Blink. Because Tone, we had a guest 2 years ago that lived out in LA that was like, Blink is coming back, wait for it. So we kind of knew this was coming, but you don't know in what capacity. You getting just an off reunion date? You getting any music? You don't know, and we got all of it. And I don't know if you're a Blink guy, Shawn. I don't know.
Well, no.
All right, then I'll jump in.
I absolutely respect them. I definitely listened to them a lot when I was, Enema of the State and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, they weren't ever something that was on constant rotation for me. But I remember when they were doing the tour, especially when they were going to do it with Turnstile. I was like, we gotta go. But then the tickets were so expensive. Really,
insane.
I think I know why, Shawn. I think you're 3 years older than us. I literally think that's it.
Yeah, I think
it might not have hit you at the time.
But I still had, what's the album with the bull?
Dude Ranch.
Dude Ranch. I had Dude Ranch. But same thing still. I was just kind of like, I like this, but I was never just like, it didn't like directly resonate. But but if someone said like, you want to go see Blink, I'll be like, I'll see Blink. I know those songs. A lot of fun.
They you're right, Twan. The fact that they were able to pull off the album not sucking, and we talked about it a little bit a couple weeks ago with Nate when we did the 20 years of Untitled, but they were able to give us something that wasn't like, oh, geez, this is a bummer. Like, I'm bummed this happened because it doesn't sound good. They should have just left it all in the past. So we got that, and maybe they're not done, and we can see them. You know, they're touring again next summer, and maybe there's more in the tank there, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
How about you guys? Favorite musical moment? This could be an event. It could be a theme. It could be anything.
Well, I remember that this year for me, and the new, and I can speak for the new metal community among our subreddit. Sick New World and its success was huge.
Yeah,
that was our musical moment.
System of a Down and Deftones.
System of a Down, Deftones, Incubus, Korn, like, and then you had all like, this was a festival that got it, because not only did they get like, you know, the headliners, but they had POD, they had Cold, they had Orgy. Orgy, I would say, made a comeback because they were playing like the Whiskey a Go Go and maybe a few LA venues here and there. They maybe like headline with Paraman 5000 through the Midwest, and that's about it. But then like here comes this like When We Were Young sister festival that deals with industrial and new metal and a little bit of hardcore, and they nail it. They're able to pull it off. There's a little sound issues. It's the first time they've done this, like they're ironing out the kinks, but everyone I know that went was just like, that was fucking awesome. Everyone sounded great. Everyone looked like they were having fun. And then all of a sudden people gave a shit about some of these bands that have been, not dormant, but like kind of just been struggling the past few years. And then all of a sudden they were like, oh, they're still around. Now they're still around. They're making records. Now they're making records, but they actually sound pretty good right now. And all of a sudden, like, now these tours are coming out that are doing pretty well. So, and
they're on the flyer forever. Like, that's the thing is like, now people, it's in your face. Even if you didn't go, you know that it happened.
So yeah, Sick New World, that was mine.
I don't know that I have one that's any better than either of those. So
Taylor Swift.
You're right. You got me. I'm a Swiftie. Closet Swiftie, baby. No, we've talked about Taylor in the past, but she obviously had a huge year, and I'm kind of and not over it, but just like, we can do something else now, right, guys?
I think I was talking because my wife is big into her, and I was just kind of saying, like, she kind of knocks it out of the park this year. So no one would blame her if she kind of just took a step back and was like, I'm just gonna hang out with my cat.
And she should. She's on that.
I'm gonna write and just kind of let everyone else take the attention. I did a kick-ass tour, put it out on a movie. I'm good for the rest of my life.
Person of the year, Time Person of the Year, I think.
Relax, right? But like she probably has enough time and energy to kind of like hang out with her friends, and then put out another, like, a new record instead of like a remaster or whatever. What is she doing? She's like re-recording them.
Yeah,
Taylor's version.
Yeah, the Taylor's versions. So, but yeah, a big respect to whatever she's doing.
Hard to do a year in review 2023 without mentioning her, obviously, because she's the biggest music star maybe ever. I mean, people point to Michael Jackson, and the Beatles in the early days, maybe, but I don't know, man. With the way things are fractured, she's probably the biggest music star we've ever, or one of the biggest music stars we've ever had, if not the biggest by herself.
Yeah, it's pretty, like, I think there's times, because like you said, like, music's so fractured right now. Like when we talk about new metal, we're like, oh, new metal will never be big as it was back in the TRL days, back when I was a kid, and you would, like, see Korn on MTV like every day. Like, it's never going to be like that. And then with this happening, I was just like, I don't know. I guess I don't know anything. There is still room for pop stars and bringing everyone together to enjoy, this one person. So
Well, and if TRL happened today, you'd have a new metal band next to Taylor Swift, right? That's what would happen in 2023. So it would make sense.
Yeah, you would. You have to have the
And Blink.
So nothing's changed.
Exactly. Yeah. Nothing's changed. All these bands still rule. She's a massive pop star. It's 2023, not 2003, but whatever. It's all still happening. And that's pretty cool, actually. I kind of like that world.
It is, yeah.
All right, next one. Favorite podcast moment.
Can I go?
Absolutely.
You guys didn't put this in the episode, though, did you?
If it's the one that I think of, yes, it's in there.
It's in there, yeah.
It is in there. Okay, because I did listen to it, and maybe you did. Yeah, okay. I think yeah. So
you just exposed yourself, Shawn. You never listened.
So no, I did. I actually listened to it. Believe it or not, I listened to it on the way back from the Teenage Wrist concert. I was I was like, this is a 2-hour drive. I'm going to listen to this episode, and it was great. It was a good episode. He's such a class act. But when you ask him about the DJ scratches on what's the song? Sunshine?
Yeah, I think it's Sunshine. I think it's the opening track.
Sunset. I'm like, yeah, on Sunshine. Yeah. So, and I remember first hearing it, I was just like, wait a second, like, what is that? Like, is that DJ scratches, or is he like running the pick back and forth on the guitar, or like, I don't know. So I was like, it's like, those are DJ scratches. And then when you asked, like, do you have any questions for him? I'm like, yes. And then when he was just kind of like, I can confirm nor deny, I was like, you want DJ scratches in there?
He was very coy. He was very coy. And actually, pause right here. I'm going to put that into the episode. It's coming.
I think they're scratching on Sunshine. Can you confirm?
You know, maybe I'm just going to let that one marinate.
Ooh,
maybe I'm just going to let that one just like, it maybe could be. Who knows? It's not credited.
That just made the episode, actually.
We're going to say sorry to Shawn. We tried. And we're back. That was really, he was very coy, and it was awesome that he essentially confirmed, right? It's got to be that.
Yeah, I'll take it. There was the answer. It was the answer I needed. If he was just kind of like, no, and then he gave me an explanation, then I'd be like, oh, well, now I have an answer. But from him just coming like, I was just like, aha, it was.
Yep, that was awesome.
He was great. That conversation was great. That question was great, and the way he answered it was great. Mm-hmm. So I would say it's not my favorite, but I can understand how it would be someone's.
I have a personal connection to it.
Well, I definitely understand why it's Shawn's favorite. It was his question, and it was answered, and in a cool way. And
totally,
you just heard it, so it's Marshall's great. Go back and listen to that episode because it was badass. All right. I have a bunch. I don't know that I can name just one. The one that initially came to mind goes back to our episode with Brian McTernan surrounding The Artist in the Ambulance, Thrice's record, early 2023. I asked if the guitar in the song, the title track, The Artist in the Ambulance, was meant to sound like a siren.
I know where this is going.
And he told me yes. And I was like, holy shit, I've been thinking about this for 20 years and I got the answer. And I was right. This is so cool.
You know what's funny, Tone? I never thought of that. And I was equally as jazzed and excited about it. I was like, holy shit, that fastball blew right by me.
It's the reason you come to Podioslave for the nerdery that we've uncovered, whether it be 20 years old or last year or an hour ago. We're always digging for something like that. And I remember hearing it. I mean, I've listened to that song 1,000 times in a row in the past. Like, it's just one of my favorite songs they've ever done. And I'm like, this sounds like it's supposed to be like siren sounding. And to have it confirmed by Brian, I was like, this is my world is made. The podcast, I don't even know if we need to do anymore. We can stop here. This is what I was looking for.
And he answered it very direct, like, yes, like, and I think he's smart too. Like,
the part in between the verses and the choruses, Tepe's guitar sounds like a siren. Is that on purpose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, good pull, Tone. Good pull.
It was a nerd sees nerd moment, as they say.
As we love to do on this pod.
As only us say.
You go back and listen to that now.
That's again, segue king here, Tone. my favorite favorite podcast moment is just the theme of connecting with Brian this year.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar with Brian McTernan, go Google Brian McTernan producer credits. If you listen to us, it's a who's who of every band we love. He's produced everyone. And then the flame with him kind of like reignited when he started Be Well. The Weight and the Cost album a few years, what it was, 2 or 3 years ago, like really hit me. It came out on Rev. It had Brian, like it checked every box. And then that was like kind of the spark to be like, well, let's connect with him. Let's chat with him. Like he's got an interesting story if you know it. And we had him on twice, right? We had him on episode 147. He did the Thrice episode.
Yep.
Then we had him later in the year
With
Vinny doing 20 years of the movie Life's 40-Hour Train Back to Penn. And for him to be as cool as he was, as excited to talk, like he's a cool dude. Go listen to those episodes. Go stream all of his albums. Go check out Be Well. Like to me, the Brian McTernan connection, and we got to have him on again.
Oh, we definitely have to have him back. He is for no reason other than he is amazing to talk to about music. Like he doesn't pull any punches. He tells you what he thinks. He's very good he's got a great ear. The dude is awesome. I can't wait to talk to him again because it's been a blast both times we've done it.
Yeah, that was it was the first one that came to my mind when we kind of picked this superlative.
This is not to slight any of the other amazing things we've had on the pod this year. Like just so many cool things have happened this year. So those are just 2 ones that popped up. 3 ones that popped up.
What do you got, Tone? What else you got here?
Man, so in listening to the episode we did after that episode with Brian, we talked a little bit about like what we thought was going to happen this year. And Twan, you kind of nailed it. You said it's going to be the year of Long Island, and we got a Crime and Stereo record. We got a Koyo record.
Pain of Truth album.
Yep. Incendiary. Like
Incendiary, yeah.
So many cool things happening from that part of the world. The Sleeping came back, and we had Douglas on. Yeah, man. Just kind of loaded from Long Island. And we're not, at some point when we retire, we're going to buy a camp on Long Island, Maine, and become the Long Island podcast for real. But right now we're not. We're just adjacent to it. And we love that kind of scene. We've talked to a bunch of people from it, but yeah, that's been a really cool thing. And you kind of knocked that prediction out of the park, Twan. I got to give you credit.
The stars align, man. And then you throw in Daryl's features. You throw in the Movie Life played some 20-year 40-Hour Train episodes. Frank Zumo, originally from Long Island, Sum 41 comeback album. Like it was
Taking Back Sunday, 7 years between records.
Jesus.
Yep.
Taking Back Sunday. Wow. Yeah, it was Long Island, dense population. It makes sense, but something in that water. There's something in that Long Island water. I wouldn't drink it, but I would. There's something in it.
I flew over it the other day. That was enough for me, but yeah. All right, let's dig into the records and the EPs that we loved this year. I'm going to lead off with our guest, Shawn. What do you got, man? Give us what you loved.
So here goes. I'm just going to power right through them, and then I'll just kind of give a little like blurb on some of the ones that just really stood out. So Spotlights, Alchemy for the Dead, Jesus Piece, So Unknown, MS Paint, Post American, Teenage Wrists, Still Love, The Armed, Perfect Saviors. For hip hop, I'll go Group Therapy. I was mature for my age, but I was still a child. Curse the Knife, There's a Place I Can Rest. Hers Collective, We're Still Here. Narrowhead, Moments of Clarity. George Clanton, Rap, yeah. That's there. Incendiary, Change the Way You Think About Pain. The Album Leaf, Future Falling. Jake Mann, Out of Mind a While. The St. Pierre Snake Invasion. Galore, and Apache, Swinging Stars for albums. And then, of course, like right now, I'm just listening to Rat Wars by Health, and I fucking love that band so much. The big standouts for me, Spotlights, Alchemy for the Dead. They've opened for Quicksand and Deftones and all those guys, and they are like combine sludge metal with like hum types, failure type rock music, and you have Spotlights. Wow, such a huge band. Saw them open for Glassjaw in San Francisco, and then this album they put out was just they nailed their sound. This is them. This is Spotlights. This is how you're gonna get them. Highly recommended. The MS Paint record, Post American, just genreless. You can't even nail them down. They're the me and Holiday kind of joked that they're a little bit like a new metal band, because back in the day, new metal bands were bands you couldn't nail down what their genre was because the genre hadn't existed. But you could have them open for Anthrax, but at the same time you could have them open for a punk band or a hardcore band or whatever. You could fit them everywhere. MS Paint is a band you can just fit anywhere, and people are going to be like, what is this? This is awesome.
Even aesthetics and optics of the band
Totally.
too.
Yep.
Yeah, like visual, like artwork, how they present themselves on stage. I couldn't name one MS Paint song, but I know I know about them because of people like you that praise them so much. So maybe I should do some nerd homework. And
I listened to it. Somebody in the comments was like, check this out. And I did. And I liked it. And I didn't come back to it. I should have had the Google note going that you do Shawn. Because I should have come back to it, because I remember being like, this is cool. I should listen to this again. And just with so much going on, it didn't happen. But now having it come back into, the world, it's definitely gonna get another spin.
It's pretty impressive what they pulled off. You just don't know what's happening with that record.
And the name is ballsy.
The name
like
is
MSP.
I kind of love it, actually. It fits in a band name, Real or Fake, for sure.
Is Bill Gates gonna come for their ass?
Maybe.
I mean, I don't know how much money they're gonna get. I don't know if you've seen any of their 856 videos, but there's some pretty scraggly guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill's got bigger fish to fry, and he's just gonna let them just do what they want to do. George Clanton, who rap is like, there's a certain genre of 90s music that has not been tapped into yet, and George Clanton nails that kind of like trip hop, poppy, Chemical Brothers type of like Oasis style music that I was like, wait a second. I feel like I know this music, and no one's been able to nail this aesthetic ever except this guy. How is he able to pull this off? And it fits. If you were to put like it between a Teenage Wrist song and maybe like another like almost like 90s-ish kind of shoegaze thing, it's not those, but it fits in there. Very highly recommended for something where you're just kind of like, whoa, like I'm hearing a lot of influences in this right now, and it just oozes 90s, but still maintains it, kind of like it not trying to like become a time machine, but actually like, the type of music you can resonate with at this time period. I don't know how else to describe it, but
no, that I'm intrigued. That's nerd homework number 2 right there.
Yeah. And so are you saying, you're not saying George Clinton?
No, Clant.
You're saying George Clinton.
Yeah, Clant. Yeah.
Because I feel like I've seen that, but if I'm listening, I'm thinking George Clinton.
Sure. The funk, not the funk guy. Yeah.
Context is key. It's Clinton.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then one last one, I would say the St. Pierre Snake Invasion. Imagine if Death from Above 1979 went and added a few more members and then just went full hardcore.
Wow. So just noisy as fuck.
It's just crazy. And it's great. I think they're from the UK, and wow. Yeah. I didn't put Spiritual Cramp on there. Spiritual Cramp, put that one up. But that's kind of fresh for me right now. But that one is like a go-to driving record.
I listened to it on the plane. I'm with you. Yes. Mm-hmm. I traveled last week, and Anthony mentioned it, and I was like, all right, in the text with us, and I was like, all right, I gotta put that, and that's more homework right there. I'm tossing that on the flight.
I like to be on like a bike, like if I'm putting on, and then because all I need is someone going like 1, 2, 3, set, go, and I'm like, ah!
Yep.
I need that. Like that's like workout music.
Well, it's funny, when I got into them, it was like I heard some songs come up on Spotify, but when I got into the album was when I was on the bus coming home from New York. So maybe it was meant to be driving music.
Yeah. Okay, you guys turn.
All right. I mentioned Koyo and Hot Mulligan already. Those 2 records are awesome. The Teenage Wrist record we all love. Spanish Love Songs, No Joy. I listened to it again today, first time in a little while, and it still hits. That record's awesome. The Gaslight Anthem new record, History Books, really good. Really, really good. Another good driving record. Another record to listen to late at night. I mentioned City in Color. The As Friends Rust record, we had Damien back on to talk about them getting back together and going on tour with Calling Hours, who we've had Popeye too. Those records are great. The new Blink record's good. The Sleeping, I got into that a lot, and I was kind of surprised I did. Not because it's not for me, it's right up my alley, but I just didn't know about them until we had Doug on, and that record's really good. The Menzingers record that came out this year is awesome. Taking Back Sunday record was awesome, and Queens of the Stone Age as far as full lengths go. And then EPs, obviously our boys in Trawl put out one that's got Nate prominently involved right at the front, which is cool. And then the Nevermind Burning Halos. Love the Nevermind boys. Was super stoked that we found them and had them on, and I can't stop listening to them. Like it's been the constant band for me all year has been Nevermind. I've listened to them so much. Listening to them tonight in prep for this again, I can't get enough of it. Two Tone Marionette, probably song of the year. Can't beat it, man. They're my favorite. They're the band that I wish I knew about in 2020 when they put the first one out, and I'm glad that we finally found them. I'm glad that more people need to know about this band. They are fucking awesome.
What's the EP called?
Burning Halos.
And for anyone that doesn't know the band, they spell it NVM.
NVM, yep. And two full lengths and the EP, and all three are great, and they're all different. And if you want to hear about how it all happened, we had them on back earlier this year. So
pause this episode, go listen to that. It's probably an hour. Come back to this.
Yeah, and those guys they're just awesome.
Because we're gonna talk about them more in a few minutes.
I'm not surprised. I think they were both our number one artists, right?
I'm gonna throw in my EPs real quick because I spaced on them too. Local guys, I'm gonna go throw some local guys out there. The Gum Scab demo is amazing.
Nice.
The Misery Whip, I think that they come out this year. Very much art, hardcore, fantastic. The new Infernal Diatribe sounds like, I'm spacing on their name. Arf Arf.
Knocked Loose.
Knocked Loose.
Yeah, sorry. It's like our version of this, like Knocked Loose, kind of like rawness. Like they killed it. The Scowl Psychic Dance Routine was just like a perfect blend of like hardcore and 90s, like, L7 type stuff. You guys should check out Holy Figures, New Superstitions, good alt rockish kind of type stuff. Sounds like Teenage Wrist, Narrowhead stuff. And then Super Bloom, Life's a Blur. I suggested this to Anthony, I think a few months back, and I was like, these guys kick fucking ass. It seems like it's gonna be a long record, but it's actually pretty much a EP. It's only like 20 minutes long, but that Super Bloom EP is amazing.
I love that name. I can't remember if I listened to them. I'm sure I listened to them. Like that's one thing. If someone recommends new music and if it's like a trusted source, a reliable source,
exactly.
Like I'll check them out.
It needs to be a reliable source. Yep.
Yeah, right.
But like I said, everything moves so fast. Like there's a chance I probably loved that and never came back to it because I couldn't tell you what they sound like.
They sound like, I would say, it's if Stone Temple Pilots did not go popular grunge rock stuff, and they went the other direction and got dirty and nasty, and like that's what Super Bloom sounds like.
All right, I'm in too. All right, you got me. Trusted source.
It's funny, like if you say 90s around Tone and I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, right.
90s post what? Post.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of familiar names between you guys, and then there's some, as we say, nerd homework. For me, quick hitters here. The As Friends Rust, Any Joy record was fantastic. Koyo's Would You Miss It? Crime in Stereo's House in Trance. With Honors, Boundless. Incendiary, Change the Way You Think About Pain. Teenage Wrist, Still Love. Nevermind, Burning Halos. Calling Hours, Say Less. Fireworks, Higher Lonely Power. Pain of Truth, Not Through Blood. And Gaslight Anthem. Was it History Books?
Yep.
Those were the standouts for me. And the thing is if I had a little more time, I'm sure I'd dig out a few more that I loved. But as far as like true standouts, the Crime Mysterio record could be, it's my favorite band of all time, probably. First record in 13 years. It's everything I wanted. Like I was hesitant to like slot it in their like, in their canon, but it's up there. And it's everything like 40-year-old me would want from them. And I actually listened to them on another podcast. There's a record out there that they scrapped that they scrapped the whole record, then they wrote this. So they were super selective, and it shows. So that's standout for me. As Friends Rust, first full length in 22 years, same theme. Everything that I would want out of like someone my age or above, like to put out a record. There's no skips on that thing. I'm glad, it's in a crazy way. Like, I'm glad these bands waited. Like, if I had to, like, not to say that if they released an album 5 years ago, it wouldn't have been the same or a dud, but like, I'm glad that we skipped that potential of a dud to, like, you know, impact the legacy, that they waited to release something really money.
Mm-hmm.
And then with Honors Boundless, same theme. First album in 17 years. That album sounds like it was written during like the Heart Means Everything and This Is Our Revenge writing sessions. Like, I mean, I'm in. And the fact that it was maybe some of those ideas were from that, but the fact that it didn't come out till now, just a time capsule, man. It was the year of the comeback, and those three fit it.
And having Todd on too. Todd was awesome.
And that's a great theme. I mean, out of every band we just listed, we've had As Friends Rust, Koyo, With Honor, Incendiary, Teenage Wrist, Nevermind, Calling Hours, and Gaslight Anthem. I don't like those because we had them on. I like that we like them.
We had them on.
And then we have them on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's the reality.
I feel like that probably strengthens the love for the records, because now you're starting to look under the hood and you're just kind of like now I have a greater appreciation for all the maybe the hard work that they put into it.
Absolutely.
100%.
It brings some of the, you know, whether it be the process or the circumstances or any of those things to light, and gives us a deeper understanding of what it's like to, you know, be Marshall from Teenage Wrist, or be Popeye from Calling Hours, and or Damien telling us about getting back together to put a record out for the first time in 22 years. It's so cool that we get to do that, but it's also cool that we liked those bands before and we're able to talk to those people. Like, it wasn't just this was pitched to you, maybe you should do it. No, we had a history before.
And you know what it also does? It shows the value of the podcast, baby. Yeah.
Yep.
come on the pod. That's our pitch.
Absolutely.
Come on, chat with us. Chat records. Chat legacy. Let's go.
Let's talk about favorite shows.
Ooh.
This is a super hard decision because I saw a lot of amazing shows. So I'm going to give you kind of like my best show, and then my most surprising moment, which my favorite show is probably the Mastodon Gojira show.
Oh, one I didn't go to. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. But I was so impressed by Gojira's professional ability and tightness and the amount of fun that they were having on stage. I just had a blast the whole time, and I wish they just could have kept them playing. Mastodon was great, and Lorna Shore, fantastic, very tight, but Gojira, they put on such a great show. And then surprise of the year, there was a little Tennessee grindcore band called Knoll that opened for No Mas at Gino's, and I was blown away. The guy with no shirt on, like, stepped out with like no shoes and just kind of like full of hell kind of vibe, but just if you can only imagine, more demonic. And everybody in the room was just silent. They're like, this is something else. So not for everybody, but amazing show.
I love Gino's, man. I fucking love Gino's.
Yeah, Gino's is a cool spot.
The thing about Gino's is no one's opening a Gino's new. So it's just like legacy that has to be preserved. So if you have a gritty club in your town, go to shows, support it, because you never know. Even if it changes hands, it might not be the same.
No,
that's a good point.
Personality of Gino's and just the vibe of it all together. You're like, I'm home.
Yes. Yeah. It feels like home. Absolutely.
And that's Gino's, Portland, Maine. Shout out.
Yes. Portland, Maine. Yeah. We haven't mentioned where we're from yet.
Tone, what do you got for shows?
We saw a lot of really good shows this year, but I think my favorite show this year was the Queens of the Stone Age show at the Civic Center, or Cross Insurance Arena, I think.
That was so good.
Amazing. And Shawn, it kind of ties into you. You photographed that show, and they tweeted out and used and put on Instagram one of your shots that was amazing.
Yes, I was very fortunate to have that happen. I don't know who does their PR, but they must have saw But I did that, and I think Cross, like, because I shoot for Cross, they shared that image, and then they just put that out there, and
So cool.
that's a nice little validation from them. Plus, like the opening acts, like the Armed,
Yeah.
was amazing. Fanagram killed it. Like great lineup. It was just a good show. I agree.
I think we were talking to Nate about it because Nate was there too. He was home in Maine that week. He was like, they make this venue, it's an 8,000 seat venue, feel like a 1,000 person club.
Mm-hmm.
Like it felt like that the whole night. We get down onto the floor, Twan. They played In the Fade, which is my favorite Queens of the Stone Age song, bar none. I could not have been happier. It was a great mix of old and new from In Times New Roman. Amazing show. My favorite show of the year. And that's saying something because we saw some badass shows this year.
That was good. We were all at that one. I think we were all at a few shows. That was my first time ever seeing them. And yeah, we did talk about that. They have this weird ability to like feel like a club show. Not many bands can do that. And
No.
Here's the thing, not to tangent on that, but like I feel like you need to have come up in an organic way and have played clubs to be able to do that.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's like talking the way. Think about if you guys remember how Josh was talking to the audience that night. He's like, just like I'm just here to fucking like hang out and love everybody, and everyone just kind of like chill.
I was like,
everyone's
this place
just kinda
ruled.
like, yeah.
He was like, this place, like you could tell it was sincere and genuine.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That you totally felt that he was actually being sincere, that he was gracious for how and it was a great audience. Just like how they taken
Good
it.
turnout.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really great.
Shout out my cousin-in-law for getting us on the floor.
Well, it's funny, Shawn. We saw you photographing, and I approached you and pretended I was upset about
you scared the shit out of me.
You photographing in our line of sight.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't know that every once in a while as a photographer, you're kind of like on edge a little bit because you never know when a security guy who doesn't know like that you're the house photographer is gonna come up and be like, "Hey, 3 songs," or like, "Hey, you're not allowed to do that," you know, or he's gonna like grab you by the back of the shirt and just try to drag you out the back. So when you like tap me and you're like, "Can you stop taking pictures?" I was just like, "Oh fuck, like not again." I whip around and it's you, and I'm like, I think I probably look a little like
you thought I was a drunk idiot, which I might have been.
But it was great. I was very relieved that it was just you.
All right, I'm gonna hit you the last 3, and then we can mic drop right out of here. I got 3. I'll be quick hits. Bane's comeback show in Boston at Roadrunner with Stick to Your Guns, Suicide File. We missed Killing Time, but those first 3 bands were enough for me. Tone and I went down on a rainy Saturday, I think it was. That was great. Silent Majority reunion in Brooklyn at the Brooklyn Monarch. Koyo opened. First time seeing them was so money. And then the last one is recently in Brooklyn in November was As Friends Rust and Calling Hours at St. Vitus. So it kind of fits this theme. Those are all comebacks. Bane, Silent Majority, and As Friends Rust. Like the last time they played was probably years ago, and I caught them all. I apologize to my wife for going out of state for all those 3, but it was money. I couldn't miss it. As they say, would you miss it?
The last prediction that I meant to say that you didn't, I didn't bring up yet from a year ago now. You said, "What's next, Silent Majority?" And then you went to go see them in New York. So yeah, you called it, man. You definitely were on that episode. Man. So good job, Twan. Hey, can you will any other bands to get back together right now? Because that'd be awesome.
Hey, we mentioned Oasis. I'm not saying I'm the biggest like Oasis fan on the planet, but what they put out is money. Like, I don't know if it would be sincere or genuine or just a money grab, but hey, we said Silverchair. Let's get a Silverchair.
Silverchair would be the one. That'd be fucking sick.
Let's get them back. Who else? Let's get Have Heart. That's the one. Ooh. Have Heart.
Ooh, there's some stirring online about that. We've been told it's not happening, but I beg to differ. The internet doesn't lie. People pay attention.
Pretty well right now.
Yeah.
Let's get Have Heart and let's get the Hope Conspiracy like playing shows again.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Last time I saw them, and actually the show was on Return to the Pit recently, was at Club Lido. It was Converge, Some Girls, which is Wes from American Nightmare, and then HopeCon. So it's been a minute. Let's get them back, baby.
Get them back. Get them all back. We want all the nerdery and to 2024 and beyond. Like let's have it all.
Real quick, do you guys have any anticipated 2024 releases or anything?
Off the
Here's
top of
thing,
my
Shawn.
head,
I'm so living in the present. I can't think ahead. I can't.
this is a January episode, Sean. No,
2024.
Manchester Orchestra is one of my favorite bands. I was hoping for something this year. They've done a little bit of stuff, but I think next year is probably the year for them.
I'm hoping for a new Dredge record.
Ooh.
Dredge is my favorite band of all time. I'm looking for new Dredge music.
Is that Rumbling or is that?
It is Rumbling, yes.
Oh, right on.
Yep.
I would, without thinking about it, I would say the two bands that come out of Every Time I Die, Many Eyes and Better Lovers. Better Lovers, my guess, will probably put out a full length, and then Many Eyes will put out an EP or something.
Yeah.
Maybe Thursday?
Ooh.
Thursday would be cool.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I feel like Jeff's still got a lot to say.
Maybe Quicksand? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's a few bands out there that we definitely would like to see. They're doing stuff. They're together. They're touring or whatever. Let's see something new.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in. Hey guys, this has been fun. You've given me some homework. You've validated some of my selections, which is great. It's always good.
Yeah, we'd love the validation.
to not be on an island, but yeah, this was fun. Shawn, I'm glad you joined us for this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, we appreciate having you on. We'll have you on in 2024, I'm sure. And I think we said it wasn't going to be an hour and 45, but I bet we're pretty fucking close. So who knows? Appreciate you hanging in and listening to the whole episode. Thanks, Potheads, and more to come in 24.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.